Hello, YouTube. It's your boy B3 here, back to the kicking TV reaction review. Been doing just movies recently, but we're gonna do a couple TV shows before I move back to movies. Pip the dog is here. Say hello, big baby. She's snuggling. She's cozy. But yeah, today we're actually reviewing something that I don't normally do. I do children's shows all the time because I do lots of tokusatsu, which is mostly children's television. Yes, it's true. But I don't do a lot of, like, Western children's cartoons. And I don't do a lot of high fantasy either, which is what this is. The Owl House, Season 1 from Disney. Yeah, this is a Disney cartoon. And usually I kind of stick to, like, horror, sci-fi, monster-y stuff, you know. But I gotta be honest, every once in a while I'll just watch something that I love so much that I have to review it. And the Owl House is one of those things. Plus, I feel like I have a lot of people on my channel who enjoy high fantasy, because I actually do a lot of high fantasy gaming stuff on this channel. Haven't in a little while, other than the podcast, but I do. So I know I have a high fantasy audience. But the Owl House, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. The Disney Channel's really weird right now. All of Disney's, like, live action shows are like trash, like they're garbage. All their live action sitcoms and stuff are terrible. But then you have like Disney's animated shows, which are awesome. Like, look at like Gravity Falls and stuff. Like, they're great. They're really good. And the Owl House is really good too. It has its problems, but it's a very good show. So first off, I want to say it's actually part of a subgenre that I don't like. The Displaced Human subgenre is what I call it. So these days, there seem to be a lot of shows about normal humans getting displaced into fantasy worlds. Even Disney Channel has more than one show about it. The Owl House is one, and then I'm about to watch a show I believe it's called Amphibia. I'm about to watch that, since I finished Mandalorian and I'm caught up on WandaVision. Actually, the day I'm recording this, the third episode of WandaVision comes out, so I need to watch that. And I will be reviewing WandaVision and The Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2. The next video should be Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2 review. But, I actually don't like this subgenre at all. And I mostly don't like it because of anime. I haven't watched anime in a long time, but all of my friends, for the most part, are anime people. And I see a lot of ads for anime because I watch a lot of stuff on that with them on, like, Hulu and stuff, and I see a lot of these ads. Plus, I used to watch Crunchyroll a lot when I was catching up on JoJo. And there are all these shows that are like, oh, regular human gets sent to a fantasy world. But in Japan, it's very pandery. It's very wish fulfillment. I mean, I'm not going to say Owl House isn't some kind of wish fulfillment. But in the Japanese ones, it's pretty much always a dude, for one thing. It's always a dude who's an absolute loser in the real world, a quote-unquote otaku, because if you call them weeaboos, they get upset. An otaku who's terrible at everything in the real world, likely unemployed, women hate them, and then they end up in this fantasy world, but in the fantasy world, they're like an incredibly powerful being who can do anything. They're just a Gary Stu. 100% they're a Gary Stu, and they have basically no problems, which is just bad writing, kind of. I'm not saying I feel like Gary Stu's and Mary Sue's as main characters can make writing a bit problematic. That's why Kamen Rider Kabuto was more the secondary character in a show that was titled after him, and our real main character was Kamen Rider Gat. Any excuse to talk about Kamen Rider, right? But yeah, in the Japanese ones, as soon as they get into the fantasy world, they're all powerful, and women are obsessed with them because in the real world, they were good at video games, and they read a lot of manga, and that makes them invincible in this world. Sword Art Online kind of started this. Sword Art Online is a lot less Sword Art Online's a bad show. I've never seen a Sword Art Online episode I liked. And I watched all of the first one and all of Alicization, and I hated both. And this genre, I just think is such garbage. The one where the guy is reincarnated as a slime, that one actually almost looks like a parody of the genre, so I'd be willing to give that a shot. But then, like, there are so many other ones, and it's just wish fulfillment for lonely losers. But this show is not. For one thing, so the character is someone who doesn't fit in the regular world, but when they go to the fantasy world, they don't fit in there either, which is very different. Because her name is Luz. She's a very fun character. I'd be her friend. I believe she's Disney's first. I believe this is the first Disney show with a bisexual main character. Yeah, she's bi. This is a very gay show, which I really liked. It's a very gay show. So she gets displaced there and ends up living with the Owl Lady, who is a wild magic witch. Not quite as wild as D&D wild magic, but she's a wild magic witch. She has this demon living with her named King, who is super cute, and every time they say his name, I think about the Red Ranger from Zuden Sentai Kyoryuger. And also the house is sentient, and his name is Hootie. And there was not near enough Hootie in this show. He's so funny. He's this, like, owl whose face is on the door. He's so funny. The whole show is hilarious. Like, laugh out loud hilarious, even for me, a 26-year-old grown man. I laughed out loud when I watched the show, and I watched it by myself, which is, it's funny as hell. So she's living with them, and over the course of the show, she makes friends, and because she gets there and she's still an outcast because she can't use magic. Everyone there can use magic, and the magic comes from this giant skeleton that their island kind of formed around. So like the mountain is the giant's leg, and like the peak of the mountain's his knee. It's a really cool world with lots of really cool creatures, very interesting looking things. Some things in the show are just straight up terrifying. Like, you know that episode of Gravity Falls with like the candy monster that like eats people who don't respect the summer Halloween? Like, if I was a kid, that creature would have scared the shit out of me. And I would have loved it. But, like, this show has stuff like that, too. Some legit scary stuff. But it's also really funny. I think it's something that kids will very much enjoy. And Luz makes a lot of friends here. She doesn't really have friends in the real world, but she makes friends here. And that's one problem I have with the show, is they don't balance her friends well. They kind of make this main trio, which is Luz, and then two of her friends at the magic school. Once she finally gets accepted to the magic school, she has to discover a new way to do magic in order to do that, which was very impressive, and etc. But, you know, she makes these friends at magic school, and there's like the main trio, which is her, and then like her plant magic friend, whose name I don't remember, and her illusion magic friend, whose name I don't remember. And I can't really remember their names because I felt like they weren't balanced well, and they just didn't make a very good impression on me. I don't know. And then there was Amity, and I definitely remember Amity. She's one of those bully... Hey, shh. She's one of those, like, bully converted to friend characters. More like bully converted to girlfriend characters. She's very gay, and I predicted that. After my friend and I were watching it, like, separately, because she lives in another state, Keocat and I were both watching it at the same time. But, like, distanced. And I was like, I bet Amity turns out to be super gay. And then she was like, I don't get that vibe. And I was like, she's gay. And I was very right. She was extremely gay. And it's so cute. It's very cute. So yeah, I really liked Amity because Amity was... Her character just had a lot more substance than the other two friends. Because she's from this really stuck-up family, and she used to be friend. I think Willow maybe is her name. the plant magic one. That makes sense because plant magic. She used to be friends with Willow, but she had to stop being friends with Willow because her parents told her to. Her parents were like, if you don't stop being friends with this non-influential witchling girl, we are going to pull strings to make sure that she never gets into school. And I was like, jeez. So she stopped being friends with Willow to kind of like protect her in a way, but then eventually they grew apart so much that she started ending up kind of like actually bullying her and being mean to her because she wanted to keep her social status. But then she kind of like learns more about being herself from Luz and etc. And she kind of makes up with Willow, and she kind of leaves the popular clique to come hang out with these less popular kids. And she kind of finds it in herself to kind of let her gayness out a little as well. And I was like, okay, Amity's very well done. Very well done. Then we have the owl lady herself. We've got some pretty big spoilers coming. So she is like one of the most powerful witches on the island. Because most witches end up having to join a coven. And when you join a coven, all of your magic is locked away except the magic that the coven uses. So if you join the illusion coven, you can only use illusion magic forever. You get a tattoo that seals the rest of the magic away. If you join the abomination coven, you can only use magic that creates abominations, which are basically like just golems, sort of, pretty much. And etc., etc. And she doesn't want to join a coven and have her magic locked away. She wants to be free. Even though her original dream was to join the Witches' Coven. And there's a lot I'm not going to tell you every detail of season 1 because there's just so much you can discover. And then her sister is in the Emperor's Coven. The Emperor's Coven is the only coven that lets you use all magic because you're the Emperor's personal like army. And the Emperor's army can use all magic. That's the only coven that won't lock away your magic. So it also turns out, this is a big spoiler, the owl lady is cursed. And if she doesn't drink this potion at certain intervals, she will turn into an owl monster and just slaughter people. She doesn't kill anyone in the show, obviously. It's a kid's show. But she tries. And it's pretty cool. Oh my god. I love Monster Ida the owl lady. Very cool. And so throughout this show, she's like struggling with the curse. Like it's getting stronger and she needs more and more potion to control it, etc., etc. And that takes a very interesting turn, you know. And so and then there's King, who calls himself the King of Demons, and he wants everyone to see him as kind of like this cool, bloodthirsty ruler, but he's like so weak and cute that everybody just like adores him. But he's also like, he wants to be seen as this big tough guy, but he's not really a big tough guy. He kind of really just wants friends and stuff. He's a cute little character. I think kids would really love him. I'd love a King plushie, you know? I got a couple plushies. But yeah, so those are most of our main characters. And it's a very fun show. Lots of great magic and some good storytelling. Some of the characters could be better, more balanced, like the friend group. And then like, I just really like how Luz kind of goes to the world. She's like still a loser there because she can't do the one thing that's like important in the world. But then she kind of like grows more as a person there because she's just more comfortable there than she is, you know, at home. So she still has to find herself. The show is really just about finding yourself, which is very interesting for kids because that's what kids spend the first 18 years of their life doing, often beyond, just finding themselves. So that's a very good like message for kids, I think. Also, the show has heavy anime inspiration. One, it's got the whole human displaced to a fantasy world thing, which is which I feel like is heavy anime inspiration. I know anime didn't do it first. That old Dungeons and Dragons show from the 80s did it. But in the Dungeons and Dragons show from the 80s, those kids weren't like they wanted out of there. They wanted to go home. And all these other shows, the kids mostly, the people that get displaced just want to stay there. And etc. So we get we get lots of anime influence. Like if you look at the opening credits, like the opener of the show, and then in the credits of the show, they're an anime opener and closer. Like 100%, the opener and closer for the Owl House is an anime opener and closer. Just 100% anime. So anime. With the kind of fast, adventurous opener, and then the slow, kind of emotional closer. It's so anime, it's insane. And then there are also some like big witch battle magic fights in this show that are so anime, it's insane. Like they look like they were rotoscoped over anime or something. Like they really do. The show also kind of has the animated characters, like, you know, anime is kind of known for its big eyes. The characters in the show have big eyes. I mean, Eastern animation wasn't the first to do that, I feel like, probably. Maybe they were, I don't know. But, yeah, they got the big kind of anime eyes, and the animation's just done very well. It's very smooth. It's not awkward looking in any ways. I really like the animation. It's done very well. Character designs are fun and creative. I think the show is very good. Yes, it has its problems, but all in all, very good show with some cool twists and fun characters. So that is it for The Owl House Season 1. Notice I didn't give away too many big plot points. That is because I really want you guys to watch it. It's on Disney+. Season 1 is on Disney+ right now. Season 1 and 2 for the show were ordered at the same time, so they already knew they were going to make Season 2 before they even started making Season 1. That being said, there's no release date for Season 2, and it's killing me because I really love The Owl House. So that's it. Thank you all once again for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. I think my pizza's probably almost done in the oven. Sorry about the patchy beard and the kind of sweaty hair today. Been running around. But I'll see you all next time when we review The Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2.